this actually sucks. Just smell like rotten fish. Oh, you just want scratches. Welcome back to the video, everyone. Today, we're gonna be doing, oh, okay, all right. You just hate that, don't you? Today, we're gonna be hanging out in the fish room. I've got a bunch of stuff that I wanna do, and I am very excited for this video. So let's start with, in the last few vlogs, I've been playing around with these two tanks a lot. This is the Congo tetras that I'm trying to spawn. I've got them set up right now. I've got a feeling they're probably gonna spawn tomorrow. They're in 100% RO water. She's super fat. He looks like he's ready to go. And then in here, this is gonna be my tank for trying to spawn my Harlequin Rasboras. What I'm gonna do is 100% water change with this. I'm gonna drop it all the way down and fill it all the way back up with RO water. So that'll be pure water. I'm gonna take them out of their tank that they're in now. I've been feeding them a ton of food and getting them really fat. I'm gonna take them out of that tank, put them in here tomorrow afternoon, and see if I can't get them to spawn the morning after. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm very excited about that. I'm gonna go around the room, pick some eggs and do all my jobs. Then we're gonna go to the shop, gonna see if there's any cool fish. I know Mia's gotten some really cool fish in at the moment, and I wanna go check them out. And I also need to get some blackworms. So cue the montage, and I will see you guys when I see you again. And I don't know when that's gonna be. A lot of people don't know this, but Sam absolutely loves coming to the shop, and he also speaks English, so... Oh, there's the alarm. Good thing I turned that off earlier, hey. But if I say these keywords, he's gonna go nuts, because he's gonna know we're going to the shop. So, let's go. Come on, let's go. See? Oh, settle down, Sam. Come on. Hello. So it's now the next day, and I've got really cool news. So overnight, my common whiptails have bred here in the Amazon tank. So they're up against the back of the filter, and there's a female sitting with the male right now, actually, looking like she wants to breed again. I'm gonna leave him with his eggs for a while because I just want to let them develop, and I don't want them to get covered in fungus or something like that if I take them out. Plus, it looks like the predators in this tank really aren't taking too much interest in the eggs. So you might be wondering what was the trigger to get them to spawn. And the only thing I can think of is in the last few weeks, I've been feeding more vegetable matter. So green beans and things like that, which you would have seen in previous videos. But I'm actually trialing a new formula for my green cuisine with hemp meal in it. and I've started to feed that, and they started breeding like 3 days later. So I'm wondering if the hemp didn't make a difference. Kind of funny if it did, but that's really good news over here, and I'm pumped about that. That tea is way too hot to drink. Updating you guys further as well on the angel babies. They're doing really good. I've got them to like a pretty decent size, and funnily enough, these are koi angels. The babies already have like a little bit of koi patterning on them, which is nice to see. Now, I've got something that's really pissed me off, and you guys hear that all the time, but I think I've made a mistake in here. I've got 2 massive mystery snails in here, and I think that overnight, my population of angels is dwindling down, and I think the mystery snails might be eating them while they sleep. So the angels, when they're sleeping, sit on the floor. The mystery snails don't take breaks at night, and I've got a feeling that they just come over and eat the sleeping bodies of the baby angels. So we're gonna be taking them out today, and I'm not gonna be using mystery snails in these trays again unless they're tiny. And I'm really peeved about that because I've worked really hard to raise these babies up. Luckily enough, yesterday I got another massive spawn of angels, which we're gonna be working on again. I'm probably gonna limit it at like 300 or 400 of these babies because I won't be able to sell them all through the shop. So I don't really wanna have to sell them to a wholesaler just to make room. And the goal is to obviously just grow these out and breed more. So we'll do one more good batch and then that'll be it. So kind of annoying, but this is part of being a fish breeder. So welcome to my life. So like I was just saying with the angels, how I only want to do like 1 or 2 batches. The next thing on my list that I kind of want to tick off now that I've got a few angel babies coming through and sort of got that workflow down pat, I want to start breeding up some rams. So I've got some really nice adults in here, and they've been showing like a lot of potential to spawn. So today I'm going to set up a breeding tank for some rams and show you guys how I do that. So we'll try and pick out a nice pair and get them going in another tank. I just finished up emptying this tank, which was the original Epistogramma borellii breeding tank. Took all the babies out, put them into a grow out tank. Did something just land on my hair? Okay, that was weird. So I took all the babies out. There was quite a few, I'd say. It was a pretty decent batch, and I'll just be growing those out, getting them ready to go to the store. This will be the ram breeding tank. Now, the thing with rams is they require warmer water to breed. The room's at about 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, and this, funnily enough, is not even warm enough to get them to breed. You really do want them at about 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, and I don't want to work in a room that's that hot. So we're gonna have to add a heater to this tank. The problem is I don't have power to this aquarium, and I'm gonna have to set that up today. I want to run a power lead behind here and get a nice neat junction so that I can always have access to power that's not on the timer, because I've got power outlets above these tanks for running the lights, but they turn off at night. So I don't want the water going from like 28 to 24 degrees overnight. I think that's just too much of a drop. Honestly, it might be natural. I could do that in theory, but I'd rather just keep the temperature stable. Yeah, we'll set this tank up today for them and should be pretty straightforward. So while we're on the topic of power, this is kind of unnecessary to talk about, but I thought you guys might find it interesting. Something I've always wanted in my room is like a charging station. So I've got lots of camera gear, I've got my phone, my microphones and all that sort of stuff. At the moment, it's kind of like unorganized. I've got like my GoPro charger upstairs and then my camera charger down here, and like, it's just all over the place. Today, I really quickly want to set up as well like a charging station and like get it all nice and organized so that I know where I'm always charging my phone and things like that here in the room. Stuff like this just comes in super useful, especially when you spend like this much time in a room. So we'll get that sorted today. Alrighty, so now more about the fish. So last night I introduced the group of harlequin and rasboras back in this tank. I watched them this morning for a good 30 or 40 minutes while I had a cup of tea. I couldn't see any breeding or any spawning behavior. I've gone as far as this is like 100% RO water. Even that softness in the water, like taking out all the mineral and adding pure water, hasn't made a difference yet. So what we're gonna do is also add a heater to this tank, and I'm also gonna add some tannin by adding Indian almond leaves to this tank and really try and get it super soft, super tannic and warm, and see if that doesn't get them to just fire tomorrow. Another thing that's gonna be important to getting these to breed is daphnia. I'm gonna add a bunch of daphnia in here from my cultures outside. I'm gonna quickly show you guys how I culture my daphnia. And over here with the Congo tetras, I've got a feeling that they're gonna breed sometime today. This new pair's been in here a couple of days, and he was showing like a lot of spawning behavior this morning, and I've been feeding them a ton of blackworms, so I wouldn't be surprised if this afternoon we have a bunch of eggs in here. That'd be really nice. So in the last vlog, we stripped out some Cory eggs and I put them into a fry box up here, raised them up. I think I might have talked about this already, but I ended up losing them. This next batch that I've got seems to be doing a little bit better without the sand. The first box I had sand in it. The second box doesn't have sand. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to raise these up. I've had lots of success with them in the past, but I'm kind of stuck at the moment. So I've got a brand new batch of eggs here, and the sturbays are spawning over there already again, so I'm gonna get another chance. I'm still in the process of trying to figure out the best way to breed these. I think maybe these fry boxes that I've got don't put enough water through to keep the water like nice and fresh, but then again, I've watched Lowell's Fish Lab and he had like hundreds of Corys in one of these boxes and it seemed to work out great for him. So I don't know what's going on. I'm trial and error trying to figure this stuff out for you guys and work out how to breed these. While we're here too, man, these little baby L397s that I pulled out of the ponds are actually doing really well. They've all started to develop tails and get their tiger patterns, and you're not meant to count your eggs before they hatch, but at the moment I do have 10 little wrigglers in here. So hopefully I can get these babies bigger, but you can see they've developed a lot since the last time. Okay, enough about the talking. Let's go look at my daphnia cultures. Okay, so we're outside here with my ponds, and these are my daphnia cultures. Now these are great to have as a breeder. I got my culture from Glenn, and these are the smaller daphnia. So you get like, I think the big ones and then the little ones. These are little ones. I've been culturing these pretty reliably, and the trick to daphnia is having a reliable source of green water. I'll probably go more in depth on this in a like dedicated daphnia video, but these are the cultures. I keep them in buckets, and I have at about any given time about 4 or 5 of them going. This pond here is home to a massive colony of black Moscow guppies and my turtle Snap. Now she makes a ton of poo, and that poo in the water turns into green water, which is amazing for feeding to baby fish, but also to feeding to your daphnia, and it helps them to grow up, and it's a really good food source. So this is my infinite green water supply, and I actually killed my green water the other day by adding some foxtail in here. The foxtail killed off all the green water and I nearly lost all my daphnia cultures. So I pulled all that out. We're now back to having a really good supply of green water, and I am back to having some more daphnia to culture. So basically what I do is every morning come in here and service these little cultures. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, so the culture we're gonna be harvesting from today is this one. Now, I'm not gonna be able to harvest like millions today, but we'll get a fair few. So let's take some of their green water, come in with a net, and just scoop around the edges. There's actually quite a few in here. You can see that net gets like that nice layer of daphnia in there. I don't harvest from every single pond. I don't know if you can see this as well. There's a ton of daphnia in there. You guys see that? So yeah, there's a ton of daphnia in here. We're gonna feed this to the rasboras. It'll get them all in breeding mode. What I do to service these ponds, well, these little daphnia cultures, is you kind of have to like start and reset them all the time, you'll get like dragonflies laying eggs in here and you'll get mosquito larvae. So you'll get one going really good for like 3 or 4 days, and then once it's gone past that period, I just like to reset it. We'll reset this one for an example. I'll show you how I do it. So what we'll do is just take our water, and I like to throw it over the guppy pond in case I miss anything. But we just filter out all the daphnia, catch out everything, and then we can, actually, we'll eat these. We'll give them to the fish. There's quite a few in there. Then we'll get an empty bucket. I'll get more green water from the pond. I'll give it a good rinse out too. Wash that bottom off as well. Get a fresh batch of green water. And then I'll pour just a few daphnia in here just to start it up. There we go. And these guys, they breed every like 12 hours, I think, some ridiculously fast pace. This will be full of daphnia next week, which I can feed to my fish, and it's free. So let's go feed these to the harlequins. I'll just pour this daphnia in here and you'll see how nuts these guys go. And apparently this is more nutritious than baby brine shrimp, so. All right, in they go. Watch the feeding frenzy begin. Well, I've just walked into probably one of the worst days I've had in fish keeping in like years. So I went away for one night yesterday and got the fish room all ready to go. And while I was gone, I think I just got unlucky and the power here tripped, and I walked up to the house and I couldn't hear the air pump going. And I walked in here and the smell just hit me straight away. It just smelled like rotten fish. And I'm cleaning up the mess like right now. I've been cleaning for the last like hour, just like bodies and bodies, and I've lost so many fish that I've had for like 4 years. So I ended up losing my entire colony of 201s, which I've had since 2020. And they're all dead. I lost a zebra male pleco that I had. I lost my adult hill stream loaches, which I've had for like 4 years now as well. They all died. I lost a couple cories, my huge Pakistani loach, eggs, fry, shrimp. I'm just like so upset. So I'll talk about this later on in the video when I've like calmed down, I've cleaned the room up and assessed the losses, but this actually sucks so much when this happens. So I don't know, I guess like there's a lesson in this to have some kind of fail safe, but even a fail safe wouldn't have switched on if the power was off. So I know I'm going to get in the comments, why don't you have like a backup generator? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? This is just one of those hobbies where this happens, and this is going to constantly happen. You can set up every single fail safe that there is and fish still find a way to die. It's happened now. I've gotten used to it. I know how to deal with emotionally with fish losses. I've lost thousands of fish in my time, but it never fucking gets easier. That's for sure. And like, these are like pets to me. Like, you know, I've kept these fish and looked at them and fed them and bred them for, you know, 4 or 5 years, and like, yeah, they're just fish, but I do have an attachment to them. So to say goodbye in this way always sucks. Yeah, it could have been worse. Anyways, I'll see you guys when I've cleaned up this mess. Okay, so it's a few days later and I've had some time to settle down after the massive mess that happened, but yeah, having that happen never gets easier. I'm super duper upset because I lost fish that I've had for like years and years, and obviously you do develop an emotional attachment to them, and it just sucks because I know there was nothing I could do, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments saying, well, you should set up battery backup or something for the Switch. And it's so easy to write those comments when, you know, you're on the outside, and I realize that sometimes these things just happen. Anyways, what we're gonna do to wrap this video up, because I'm a little bit bummed out, this is a bit of a sad vlog, I'm just gonna grab the camera, go around and explain what I lost, what happened. I'll just get more into some positive stuff in the next video, so come with me. We'll just go rack by rack and I'll explain what happened. So the power turned off when I looked at the security camera footage at 8 AM, and I came back the next day at about 12 PM. So it was off for like, yeah, over 24 hours. Luckily, these guys did absolutely fine. What I did, the first thing I did was, firstly I had my tantrum, and then after my tantrum, me and my girlfriend scooped out all of the dead fish we could find to start with, and the dead fish were all in these tanks here. And then, like, that was disgusting. I've got video of that. So heartbreaking to see. Then I ran the water change on this side of the room. So all of these tanks got a huge water change. I did like an hour's worth. So they all would have got about 100% water change. Then I did this side. These little electric blue acaras actually did absolutely fine. And I don't think they'll stunt or anything like that. They all survived. By some, like, I'm just counting my lucky stars here, but by some miracle, these also survived, the peppermint bristlenose colony. I didn't lose a single one, so counting my lucky stars there, that I would have thought these guys would have gone belly up straight away. Got really, really lucky. So they all did well, and I think these pygmy cories are actually spawning right now. If you look in the back corner, you'll see there's like eggs on the glass. So they've been breeding really well. Didn't lose anything here. The baby bettas are good. Baby pistos are good. They were good. Everything here was fine. So everything survived. These are the tanks that just went so bad. Because the Senegal birches, I think they can breathe air. I didn't lose any Senegal birches, but I lost most of my Congo tetras, and it sucks because I actually bred these Congo tetras and grew them out to this adult size. So that was really heartbreaking. And I also lost my huge pachyloach. So I was just devastated about that. Here, I lost an adult zeb, and that was it in here, but that was also heartbreaking. A bunch of shrimp died too, a couple of my riffle shrimp and stuff, which I just collected, which was, you know, pains me. In here, I lost, this was the worst tank. This tank just turned into like milk. Luckily, most of the neons survived. I lost about 5 neons. I lost one of the sturbe cories, and I also lost every single one of my 201s, which was like a dagger in my heart. I've had those for so long. I've bred so many from them, and I kind of want to cry when I talk about it. So I might just move on. Like, I'm seriously upset about losing them. All of our fry tanks did fantastic. They were okay. Thank God this tank did fine. Didn't lose a single of any of the fish in here. I didn't lose any of my 46 babies, nothing. And the fry trays did okay. I've still got all of my 397 babies, which I had in the last video. They all survived. They're actually in here now. I'm just, you know, raising them up. And I did lose a few cory fry, which was understandable because they didn't have oxygen, but somehow some made it. So I probably have about, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them in here. And also in here, these did okay too. There's a new batch of sturbays in here, which I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to raise up all of these baby cories, but you can see them down there too. They survived for the most part, which was super lucky. This tank, not a single problem. I think just because of all the plants and everything like that and all that frog bit on the top. This tank's very low stocked. It was like, this probably could go without power for like weeks at this point, as long as you could have the light on at some point. So this one did fine. These guys did fine. These did fine. They actually spawned last night, which was really cool. So you can see there's like eggs in here, so that I should hopefully have some baby Congo tetras to replace the other ones I killed. I removed the Harlequin rasboras and they've done fine. So I'll see if any fry pop up in here. These did fine. Like everyone over here did okay. I actually got a spawn of the rams as well, which you can see down here. So that's kind of cool. Well, this camera is so sucky. Don't get an iPhone 16, they suck. Everyone here was okay. I do have my baby 201s over here. So I didn't lose any of the 201 babies. Like if I lift that piece of wood up, there'll be a bunch in there. So I'm probably gonna grow them out and then try again in a couple of years, but I'm just like, I don't know. This sucks. This tank actually did fine too, by some miracle. And would you believe it? The angel babies survived as well. So they're all in here. I thought they would have died for sure, but they didn't have power on their box for like 24 hours and they survived. So I got no clue how that happened. I'm hoping that there wasn't a huge ammonia spike that's gonna stunt these babies as they grow up, but we'll just have to see. I think I might've got out of the woods there, I'm not sure. But this tank got smashed for some reason. Loaches really don't like having no flow. Anything that was bigger than like about an inch just died in here. So I lost all of my adult hillstream loaches, which really sucks. I've had those adults for a long, long time. And yeah, I mean, they take a long time to grow back up to maturity and breeding size. So I think I do have some at the shop, which I can bring home and use for spawning again, but I'm just devastated. So I'm gonna wrap the video up here. Sorry for the bummer. The next video is gonna hopefully be a lot more positive than this, but yeah, just whatever. This is part of being a fish keeper and yeah, whatever. See you guys in the next video.